Hey there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. It is about 8 o'clock right now. And I'll tell you, we're looking ahead and getting ready for a snow event. And right now, even at 8 o'clock this evening, earlier than I was expecting, we're already starting to see some snow flying across parts of the area. Not everywhere, but parts of the area seeing a little bit of snow right now. You can see it over my shoulder. Some of you sending us in some pictures. We appreciate that. If you're seeing so, let us know and tell us what it's like in your area. But I'll punch this phone. We can start to kind of track this here together, and we'll, of course, get you the latest forecast as well. It's really going to be an interesting day of weather to track across North and South Carolina. So here's the radar picture right now. We've got some snowflakes flying in Surry County, Stokes, Rockingham as well. A lot of this is reaching the ground. Not everywhere, but a lot of this is reaching the ground across the region. So we're keeping an eye on this right now, starting to get a couple of reports of you seeing some of these snowflakes. And actually, here's some video. This is from Martinsville, Virginia. So this comes to us from Chris Burleson up in the Martinsville, Virginia area, and he's showing us that snow really coming down. Pretty big flakes as well. One of the things we're noticing about this snow is it's sticking right away, just sticking immediately. So we're doing pretty good shape to already get some of that snowfall coming down from the sky. So if you're a snow lover, it's probably good news. It's certainly not bad news, right, to get this a little bit early. We will have our struggles, I think, with the storm system on dealing with dry air at times. I think dry air could be a bit of a struggle every now and again, but right now, doesn't seem to be a problem, at least where we stand at the moment. So hopefully we're able to kind of cash in and get ourselves ready to go with some decent snowfall if that's what you're looking for. With this storm system, we do have a winter storm warning across all of North Carolina and all of South Carolina. Pretty rare to say that. It's not something normal, but we've got that all across the areas and Southern Virginia too. And just to go back to the radar picture for you, if we were to zoom out, and I know you can only see our little corner of the world here, but it's interesting to me to notice how it's already kind of forming on our side of the mountains. That would tend to suggest that we've got some what we would call pretty strong dynamics at play, which is to say the weather forcing is pretty strong. There's a lot of motion in the air to create precipitation, and that's a good sign so far if you're looking to get a good snowfall across the Carolinas going into this weekend. So an early start doesn't guarantee a good outcome, but it doesn't hurt, that's for sure. That's for sure. So we have a weather impact alert for you going into tomorrow. The main issue is going to be snowfall, of course, and depending on your point of view, that's not an issue at all. Maybe it delights you. That's up to you. But we're here to tell you that several inches of snow are likely, probably a little less to the northeast and a little more to the southwest. Snowy roads and travel problems, that'll be a problem that lingers. It's not all going to go away at once. We saw that this week. We've got more cold air coming at us next week. That's going to be something that lingers for a while. Bitter cold, though. Temperatures will be in the teens most of the time, and then we've got big wind coming in as well. The feels like temperature is going to be around 0, so it's really going to feel cold, and it will be cold throughout the course of this event. Our Futurecast has on and off snow showers overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. And really the best or the worst of it, depending on your point of view, the heaviest snowfall, if we're going to get that would be in the middle of the day and the afternoon. So basically from like lunchtime through dinner time, I would say is the peak of the storm. Once you get past evening, that's when it should start to kind of be going away. Just to take a little bit of a closer look at that, here's our Futurecast model. It has things filling in a little bit through about 2 and 3 a.m. Some of the nature of the storm is that it will be patchy. So you see how there are some heavier bursts and then lighter bursts, then heavier bursts and then lighter bursts. Those are going to be things that kind of happen as we go throughout this line. Here's 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's the middle of the morning. And then for some reason, my data just cuts off there, and I'm not really sure why that is. But in any case, what we're trying to show you there is that, yeah, you're going to be seeing a good amount of that snowfall pretty early in the day, honestly. So we're going to watch it kind of come together as we go farther along. Here's a better way to look at it. There we have it. There we have it. So there's the middle of the morning. Here's the afternoon. And then the back edge of this should be coming through by around 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So we're tracking snowfall basically from the early morning through the late evening. That's a good chunk of the day, and this is going to be a fine snowfall. It'll be a fluffy snowfall, and that's not something that we usually see. So for us, it should be able to stack up pretty nicely, and I've got us in a 3 to 6 range right now. Higher amounts are possible to the south. I do worry about some drier air over toward the Raleigh area. The Raleigh area could have a bit of a dry air problem, but most of our area should be in pretty good shape to get a 3 to 6 inch range here. And we haven't really changed that all that much throughout the week. So let's hold steady and let's see how it happens as we get closer into the event. If you have too much dry air, you might end up with lower than 3 inches. That's possible. But if you get more, I wouldn't be surprised. There could be a couple of heavier bands that set up in some of these areas, and time will tell. Time will tell. Impacts to our winter weather, of course. The snow is the main impact. That's the obvious one. And then we have travel to consider too. Travel will be a bit of a factor. In fact, slow travel really is likely going into the day tomorrow. And you probably shouldn't plan on doing much traveling for your Saturday. It's kind of just a hang inside kind of a day with the snow coming down. I mean, if you get 6 inches of snowfall and you're driving on those roads and they haven't been plowed yet, you're not going anywhere too quickly, I would say. So I wouldn't be in a rush. I'd kind of be where you want to be by later on tonight and kind of just ride it out. Maybe you enjoy it going into tomorrow, being at home. Sunday, see how the roads are, and that'll be up to you. But we are getting some comments from you on social media. A lot of people are wondering about when will the snow be starting, but a lot of you are saying that you're starting to see some of that snow actually falling from the sky. So just to go back to that video we have from Martinsville, Virginia, pretty impressive. And taking a look at some of our sky cameras, nothing doing in High Point at the moment. Winston-Salem, same thing. Burlington, not for you either. But I did want to take a look quickly. We've got a camera up in Danville, Virginia. Let's take a look at that one. If we look closely, hard to say if anything is falling from the sky. Usually my go-to would be to find a couple of these here street lights, but it doesn't look to me like all that much is coming down. Well, actually, if you look right about here, there's a little snow falling. There is, right there in front of the street lights. Okay, so it's snowing up in Danville, and what I would like to do is to compare that to what's showing up on radar, and that will give us an idea of what's happening. So it looks like they're in a pretty lighter portion. If we check back in about 5 minutes, that band just to the west of them could move in and maybe bring it down a little bit harder. So pretty nice to see the snow. And this could be a big snow event for most of North Carolina. I mean, it really is. To have the whole state covered in these winter storm warnings is not something that you see all that often. Wind gusts, let's take a look at the wind gusts. 20, 30 mile per hour winds. Throughout the day tomorrow, the visibility could be bad because the snow coming down gets blown around pretty well, and that's going to be a difficult thing to drive in. Also, the wind chills. The wind chills are going to be brutal and nasty around the area, feeling like the single digits throughout the daytime tomorrow. And then going into tomorrow night and on Sunday morning, that's when it'll be the worst. Wind chills basically below zero a good chunk of the time, so that'll be something to keep an eye on as well. Bottom line, throughout the day tomorrow, we're looking at a good amount of snowfall. Most of the day it should be coming down. Maybe not the whole day, but most of the day it should be coming down. And those temperatures will be very low, only in the teens. Just to recap your impacts, I think the impacts will mostly be to travel around the area. Snowfall, travel, all those things going to be an issue. And power outages, probably not so much. So we're mostly looking at a dry, fluffy, cold snow around the area that will have an impact to travel, and it will have an impact just on your daily life. You know, we've already been in this snowy situation, well, icy situation for the better part of the last week, right? And the fact that this is continuing to be an issue doesn't bode well for how roads will be over these next couple of days. So we're kind of hitting the reset button. We're going to have to clear off the roads again and kind of dust ourselves off again, and we'll see how that goes. But overall, plan on us getting some snowfall, but it will vary from area to area. It'll be a little different, so just know that going in, and we'll get through it. Stick with us on WFMY Plus. We'll have more updates throughout the night and more updates tomorrow as well.